Hey guys, so today I'm going to tell you what I read in July. So July was the month that I had Ruben, so I had a lot of downtime and I read a lot. The first thing I read was Earth Girl. Well, I didn't get any reading done at the hospital, so I started this when I came home, and it was really good. So I immediately bought the second one, Earth Star, and I read that too, and it was also really good. So this series is about Earth in the future. The main character's name is Jara, and she is a handicapped individual, which means that she can't leave Earth because the air on other planets is very toxic to her. And there are tons and tons of other inhabited planets, and there are these portals between them, and everyone can go, and there's lots of different things, but she can't. She's stuck on Earth, and she feels kind of worthless. Her parents abandoned her. Most of the Earth children are abandoned because the parents want to go travel the planets, and it's considered really upsetting to have an ape child. They call them apes, or throwbacks is a derogatory term for them, and the correct term is handicapped, and it's just her story. The second book I read was The Vault of Dreamers. It's a dystopian novel, just like Earth Girl. I really liked the premise of this. It's kind of about a reality TV show where this girl finds out some shady stuff is kind of going on down below the system. There is a second one to this, and I'm probably going to buy it and read it. The ending, I wasn't very pleased with the ending, and I don't want to have any spoilers in here, but the ending, it just seemed a little bit rushed. So I'm hoping that they describe more about what's going on in the second book. The next book I read was Panic by Lauren Oliver. I've read a few other of her books. I've read Delirium, Pandemonium. I didn't really like those. I read Before I Fall, and I loved Before I Fall. I gave it 5 points. I would like to read her other books as well too. She has a way with words that's really interesting. Now, I thought this was going to be a dystopian novel. It is not. It's kind of like if a dystopian war game or game-ish thing met real life. Like, this could happen in a small town here. And I like the real aspect of it, the real world aspect of it. It was pretty interesting, as well as the dystopian elements. It's not a dystopian novel. It's not set in the future, it's not set in the past, it's not set in steampunk, there's no magic or anything like that in it. But it's still a really good read. In the Christian aspect, I think I mentioned this book last time. I was going through it, and now I've finished it. It's called Gospel to Life. And it's kind of an 8-session study guide, and it will change your life. It'll make you see how selfish you are as an American, and how much you have and how very little you give to people. I don't really know how to describe how it has changed me and how it has shaped me. I know I read excerpts from it in my last book haul, but I finished it and I have a lot of surrendering to God to do. The last 2 books I read, I actually loaned to my mom, so I don't have the physical copy here. But I read Jane of Lantern Hill, which is by one of my favorite authors, L.M. Montgomery. You may remember that she wrote Anne of Green Gables. And I loved Jane of Lantern Hill. It was cute, it was a little more deep, and it had a really rewarding love story that didn't involve the main character. So I really liked it. The second book I read was The Far West, and it is actually the last book in the trilogy called Frontier Magic, and it's by Patricia Wade, and it has a really strong female character who is the 13th child in a family, and she's also a twin, and her twin brother is the 7th son of a 7th son, so there's all sorts of magic and strange animals, and I enjoyed the series. She's one of my favorite authors as well. I have a lot of favorite authors, and I read the first 2 books in the series like a year and a half ago, and the third book was really expensive on Amazon, so I was waiting for it to go down. So it finally went down and I bought it. So yeah, that's what I've been reading, and leave me a suggestion if you think there's something I might like. I love Christian literature and fantasy literature, some historical fiction, and like classics too. So what have you been reading lately? Bye!